that's the thing about the hood is they don't tell you when to stop. They don't tell you how to stop. They don't tell you. There's no level of guidance of telling you, and this is from anybody.
Yeah.
This is anybody. There's no level of guidance of telling you what's too much.
No.
How to walk away from something and not be scared. There's a difference between walking away from someone and being scared and walking away from someone and really wanted to do something.
Yeah.
That is what takes courage. That's what takes, that's the stuff that goes back to being successful and being able to handle a lot as a man so you can enter those rooms. You know, those beat downs are the keys to those rooms. So that's one of the things, the problems in the hood is that we don't know what enough is.
We don't know what enough is, man.
You know, that's even with being nice, we tend to overcompensate with niceness.
Yeah.
Being from where we're from because we want to get to those places. And so sometimes those people will take us being nice as weakness.
Yeah, they do.
As weakness,
they do.
And they can take advantage of it.
But the problem is they don't understand that a guy who's being overly nice is being overly nice to compensate for the dangerous person he is.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people that have never been dangerous don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know, and I learned all the rules of fighting when I grew up, man. And I learned, and it may not have been the Queen's Rights rules, but it was the rules of the street. And that rule is win.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. Physically win. So from that point on, I became a little crazy dude.
Yep.
And once you become a little crazy dude, now you're getting a wide berth. You're getting respect.
Yep.
So you're like, oh, this is what I need to do to get respect. So I started carrying a little paring knife, a little fruit knife with me.
Oh, wow.
And some dude, man, this dude was a bad dude too, man. He jumped out on me one day. I whooped that bad boy out. And I just said, hey, I ain't gonna win, but you gonna feel it. And he was older and G enough to understand that. Okay. Get on, little nigga.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying? Get on.
Yeah,
so I was like, all right. He understood, like, he ain't trying to win, but he's just trying to hurt me.
Right.
You know, and he already got his hand on this little knife, and I just stood there. And I'm just like, I know I'm not going to win,
Right.
but trust me, man. Dude, you're going to be cut up.
Yeah.
So once you keep getting that respect,
It leads to something.
and yeah, but to me, it leads to two things. I grew 7 inches in 1 year. Boom, sports hit. They was like, oh no, you gonna play basketball. I don't know how to play no basketball. You don't know how to do none of this crap. So they said, dude, you are too big, you're too tall to be walking around here not doing nothing. So they got me into basketball. The attitude came with me.
Yep. Oh, man.
Yeah, you ain't gonna foul me. I don't know what I'm doing, but you ain't gonna punk me. The attitude came with me. Coach said, sit down. Just sit down. We gotta tell you, these are your teammates. I don't care. I don't tell nobody, man.
Right.
So it was like, that don't fly here.
Right.
This is what you're gonna have to learn to do. And I started to enjoy the game of basketball, so I had to like, okay, I'm gonna let them get away with, all this stuff, whatever they doing. And then you understand that's basketball. That's a team sport.
Yep.
Got me into wrestling. And I actually end up, I didn't know nothing about wrestling, but they got me into it. And there was like a dude that was on his way to state, and I beat him. And he was mad.
Oh, I bet.
I beat him because, look, wrestling, MMA, boxing, one thing at the base of all of it is just a fight. It's just a fight. Only thing I couldn't do was punch this dude. Man, I tied him up in so many knots, man. There wasn't even wrestling holds. He didn't know what to do. And all I know is I ended up with my hand behind his neck, and I just kept squeezing and squeezing. And he was on his back, and the ref said, boom. And I looked at the ref. He was like, I got up. And the dude was just like, he was mad as hell. The crowd was like, what? You beat him? I didn't know probably 3 wrestling moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my attitude and my physicality, and I'm like, this is just a fight to me. Let's go. Tied him up, won, and then you say, okay, all right, this sport thing. I'm getting applause and stuff like that. This sport
You're
thing.
applying your energy somewhere else.
Yeah, I started applying I'm applying my energy somewhere else. So now I started. It got me into football. It got me into a bunch of other stuff, and then next thing you know, you look around and you're like 17 years old. People start talking to you about scholarships and stuff, and going to school and getting up out of here and stuff like that. But you still got a little bit of attitude because now, even though you're learning that isn't always what you're going to apply, is your bringing up, your hood stuff. You can't always apply that to stuff, but now you become more of a man.
Right.
And you don't really like being challenged.
No.
So that kind of comes back a little bit.
Yeah. Stays with you.
Yeah, it always stays with you. It always stays with you. But when you're young and you're doing it and the coach gets a hold to you, he can kind of tamper it down.
Yeah.
But as you start to grow, you get 17 years old and stuff like that, you're like, man, hold on, wait a minute. I'm getting a little bit too big to be listening to anybody. I ain't taking none of this shit.
But you also get less points as you get older, too.
You get less points.
You notice that? It's kind of weird, like how the transition kind of happens. You have to be in love with something enough to want to stop doing something.
Yeah.
And when I say stop doing something, I mean start controlling something. Start controlling.
Right.
Like, it's like people in the hood, the ghetto, the bad areas, they don't understand. I mean, they don't understand, not all of them, but most of them that remain there, and they are going to remain there, they don't understand, or they're not taught how to control any of this stuff going into another room.
Yeah.
And there's doors that open.
Yeah.
But they get shut like that because they don't know how to control it, you know? And in order to want to control it, to even go that direction, they're going to have to be in love with something enough.
More than they're in love with
their anger, their points.
Anger,
some people got so much respect on the streets that's all they feel like they need.
Well,
and that's something that they can work against you as well. Because as you get older, and trust me, I've seen it. And it's just like, I saw it. And I was just like, I saw some of my friends that just held on to the respect for so long in the streets. And it just, they turn to nothing later on in life because they just hold on to it their whole life. And then pretty soon everyone's got families, nice cars, and they're still rolling around doing the same shit they've always done, on drugs, running around the streets. And it's so fucking depressing and lonely to look at and go back and see some of the people that I knew and I grew up with, because I don't even know if I could call it their fault, because it's the environment they were brought up in and that's the love that they were shown. I don't even know if I could call it their fault. And there's no resources to pull from. As I said, there's no resources to pull from.
No blueprint.
But that's what I think school is important, like sports or those opportunities that can come in from sports.
Man, if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
Woo.
And I think it's awful that they'll kick kids out of sports for their grades, especially ones with bad attitudes. I think the worse the attitude, the more they need sports.
The more they need sports.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
they should just, anybody from the street should be able to just go and show up to sports, period, in school and just see how well they do. Just to kind of give some guidance, maybe. That's what I would say.
I'm 100% on board with that because, number one, once I started sports, I got home every day too late to be in the streets.
Yeah.
Too tired to do anything.
Right.
You know? So it saved my life 100 times over, man.
The Big Daddy